So here's how you say it. You say hatichada, hatichachka.
Hatichada, hatichachka.
No.
Hatichachka.
No, I wanna kuchka. Okay. Hatichada, hatichachka.
Hatichada and hatichka. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, we are here in the United States of America with the legendary man, the pastor, the comrade behind the saying Hatichada, Hatichachka, and various other things. Comrade Pastor Evan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure, and also finally really great to meet you as well.
Yeah, and it's very expensive to come and interview you. You know, others I just call them to come from Harare CBD to come over to the interview, but now with Comrade Pastor Evan, one has to book a ticket, fly to America. But we are now here. We got here by Guinea comrades. So, Pastor, the first question I want to ask you is, your first video that you shot went viral, completely viral. Did you wake up the next day and realize only then it had gone viral and you were like, oh my God, I meant to share this with my friends Lovemore and Tindo on Facebook Messenger, and by mistake I put it on my wall and now I'm the accidental leader of a movement. What was going on there?
Well, you know what, I think sharing it on Facebook was very intentional. It's something that I'd done before, where I shared videos where I was teaching things for Christian living. But this one, I knew I was going to share it on Facebook. I didn't intend to become the leader of a movement when I did it. It was just to air frustration. And to be honest, I was just frustrated at the time, and really still am frustrated with the condition of my country, Zimbabwe.
But so are you an agent of Mark Zuckerberg, and is Facebook really behind the revolution?
Well, I've been accused of, being funded by so many different agencies and so forth. And Facebook is a tool that people use for anything, marketing their businesses, creating friends and events and things like that. So, whilst they are not behind it directly, it's a platform that I just use like anyone else.
Okay, so with now a serious question. What do you say to Zimbabweans who feel that you betrayed them by starting this movement, the hashtag This Flag movement, by inspiring people, by sharing this slogan of Hatichada, Hatichachka, we don't want anymore and we are not fearful anymore. And then you got scared and left the country and came to America. So what do you say to that?
It's important for me to be honest about the fact that I did get to a place where I got scared. I think I would be lying to anybody if I said throughout the whole thing I've never been scared and I will never be scared. You do when you come face to face with a system that is brutal, and that's what I saw. But my resolve to continue building Zimbabwe has not been deterred and has not changed. And so I still remain firmly established in that war cry, Hatichada, Hatichachka. Hatichachka kutaura, Hatichachka, to raise our voices. We're not afraid to raise our voices anymore. We're not afraid to call you out on the injustices, on the corruption that we can see is being done blatantly, And so I think for me, that is where the war cry is. And so to say that I betrayed people, for me, is something that actually hurts me when I hear people say that. Because I have risked and still have risked, I still am risking everything that I am and everything that I have to be able to put the issues of Zimbabwe on the map. Since I left Zimbabwe a couple of months ago, literally every day of my life is devoted to putting the narrative of what's going on in Zimbabwe in the eyes and in the ears of every important office and person I can find here in the United States and anywhere else across the world.
Now another question, comrade, is did you create hashtag This Flag just so that you could seek asylum and come to the USA and eat McDonald's hamburgers and go to LA Lakers games? Because I tried seeking asylum when I came here. I got to the airport and asked for asylum, and they said, no, you are just a comedian We've already got Trevor Noah and Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert. So I was just wondering also while I'm here, I'm supposed to be going back, and if you could you help me get asylum here, comrade?
Okay.
Asylum, as we say.
You know what? You're so funny. I'm firmly rooted in Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm. I've always traveled to come to the United States and even to the United Kingdom and other countries in the world doing the different kind of work that I do. And so it was not about seeking asylum and trying to find an opportunity to come here. This is something that happened very fast. And as for McDonald's, it's not a meal I particularly enjoy anyway. And the Lakers game, and I saw the pictures that went around, people saying, look at him, he's at a Lakers game. The truth of the matter is I went to that game on a previous visit. So those were pictures that were from another visit. And if you know anything about basketball, the time that those pictures were posted and I was apparently at a Lakers game, basketball was off season in the United States. So you could see it was someone just being malicious. So but apart from that, I'm still allowed to have fun in my life. I'm still allowed to take time to relax with my family and enjoy. So it's not about that, but I'm not exempt from living my life as well in the process of trying to normalize our lives.
No, I can see you're telling the truth, comrade, because if you'd been eating lots of McDonald's, you'd have gotten those chubby, the chubby diaspora chicks, the KFC chicks, the hashtag Chapinda chicks. So another question that a lot of people I think are asking is, when are you coming back home? Because, you just let us know. We'll organize a big party for you at the magistrate's court. We'll have Jah Praiser playing. We'll invite all of your good CIO friends, We'll have a bed set up for you in Central Hotel or police station. When are you coming home, comrade?
I think we need to change the venue. The magistrate's court is not exactly an exciting place for me to have a welcome back party. But I've always asserted in the last few months, wherever I've spoken to the media or to anybody, that Zimbabwe is my home, and I am fully intended on going back. Citizen number one, the president, said that Zimbabwe is not a place for people like me, or people like me do not have a place, in Zimbabwe. And I think it's unfortunate, but I'm firmly decided that Zimbabwe is my home. And once I'm ready, hopefully that's going to be soon, I'll be making my way home. But you'll know. You guys will be the first ones to know. I'll make sure you're the first ones to know.
No, great. We'll be there at the airport to welcome you back with dancers and youthies and other things.
Youthies.
Now, comrade, hashtag this flag is still it's a popular brand. So I had a business proposition for you.
Okay.
Is I've got a new clothing line I'm working on. And if you endorse it, I can give you 50% of the profits.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm calling it hashtag this bag. And if you endorse it, then it can be a creative way of generating revenue for your revolutionary movement while still providing a very comfortable travel experience to your supporters.
Yeah, I'm sure we can work on something. You know what I mean? The hashtag this bag hasn't been used at the moment in Zimbabwe, so I think it will take off.
Yeah.
I think the one thing you need to understand, this is why people keep saying to me, can you endorse this? Can you endorse that? The thing about this flag and why it's a strong brand is because I think people are identifying with the fact that this is theirs. And in this season in Zimbabwe, the one thing that we definitely have reclaimed back is this flag. Now, you will know that the government has essentially tried to ban the ownership of flags by citizens. You don't want people to have their bags banned now, do you?
But that's what I think. That's why I think it could be great, because the government cannot ban. They might ban a flag, but they cannot ban a bag.
This guy.
There's been this badge, this flag, but I think this bag has got the potential to be the most revolutionary of all, because everyone needs a bag. It's school children, they use bags. Businessmen, okay, we don't have any businessmen left in Zimbabwe. Vendors use bags, the China bags. Government, Chinamasa uses the budget bag. Everyone needs a bag.
Ask him where he gets that bag from. Is that bag
It's from our this bag. Yeah. Clandestine.
You supplied him.
We supplied him. We put a joke budget in there, and then he read it in Parliament without realizing was the budget that he presented this year. Yeah. Also, the wrong speech that happened. That was also it was our bag.
Yeah, with nothing to do with this part of the show, eh?
That was the wrong speech was in this bag, and then we gave it, and then the president, and then Mawan. But anyway, Comrade, this bag will be launching it soon. In time for the new school term.
50%, and
50%, 51% to you. We're
okay.
Zimbabwe.
Yes, exactly.
If you were stuck on a desert island with Robert Mugabe, what would you say to him? Big question.
I'll probably say to him, "Sakatedasi." Yeah, no. But no, let me think about that. I think I would. I mean, since there would just be the two of us on the island. I think the first thing I would say to him is, Comrade, I think I'm going to lead. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting question because he's not an enemy to me. I don't view him as an enemy. And I think I would ask him to tell me about his earlier days of leadership. What inspired him? What drove him to give his all? What drove him to give his best for Zimbabwe? And then I'd ask him what changed. Because I think something changed, and if he were to be honest, he would acknowledge that something changed. And so those would be very important questions for me to ask. What drove you when you were younger? When you were my age, I'm about to turn 40, and that's pretty much the time that he started getting involved. What drove you? What inspired you to give your all and your best? And then what changed? What changed? And I think the reason I would want to ask him those questions is that I don't want to make those kinds of mistakes that he has made. So I want to know from him what the mistakes were.
So what's the way forward for Zimbabwe? Because we're in a situation where it seems the protest movements aren't strong enough. Our opposition isn't fully united and doesn't have the people fully behind them yet. And at the same time, the ZANU-PF government has got no plan for the economy. So it really seems like we're in a stalemate. So what do you think is the way forward?
I think we have a number of options on the table. What we don't have is a lot of time. It's important for those that are going to be vying for office in Zimbabwe, particularly the opposition at this point, to become something that the citizens can believe in. And I think this is part of what we have lacked in Zimbabwe over the years, is a politics that paints a vision that we can believe in. There seems to be no imagination. Well, of course, from the ruling party, there's a lot of imagination there, but
fantasy.
I think that's more of it in terms of fantasy. But there needs now to be a movement of politics that can capture the imagination of a nation or of a generation, where people can get behind and say, this is what I want for me and for my children, and I'm going to give my 110% support to. So the citizens, I believe, within the last few months, I believe the citizens have literally called for CVs. With us coming out to saying we've had enough, or with us coming out to say you can't treat us like this anymore, we're basically saying to both ends of the spectrum, the ruling and the opposition, guys, we are reviewing CVs right now. We want to choose a government that's going to take us forward into the Zimbabwe that we want. But one of you has to begin to show us the Zimbabwe that we want. So as much as we have called out ZANU-PF and their bad behavior and their bad management of Zimbabwe, we are also calling out our opposition politicians to say, get your act together. What can you show us to believe in? We want to vote for you. We want you in office, but we also want to be convinced that you're up for the job and that you are not just the alternative, but that you are the best for the job. So I think we have a season in which there has to be some form of convergence, the citizens, and particularly the opposition, because we already know what the ruling party is like. And so we want to see a more exciting opposition, an opposition that gives us that vision for the future that we want. So I think we're getting there. The idea is to unite. I can't say this any more than we've already been saying in the past. Unite, unite, unite. If we can do that, we can make things happen. One of our biggest problems in Zimbabwe has been fragmentation. We don't know how to unite. And I think we need to get there real quickly as we go forward.
So, I mean, that leads me on to my, into my final question is, what's your vision for a new Zimbabwe, the ideal Zimbabwe that we want to create? Because, I think that's a key thing that can bring many people together and engage citizens, as you were saying, is a vision that people buy into. Because I know you're someone who speaks very much about everyone being a leader, about this flag being a leaderless movement where everyone needs to take initiative. And I'm a big supporter of, the idea of building new forms of participatory democracy and getting away from this very hierarchical pyramid-like structure that we've got in Zimbabwe today and exists in many countries. Do you think we can build a Zimbabwe with a new politics where every voice counts and where citizens really participate?
Absolutely. I think that Zimbabwe is very well within our reach. In the last few months, we all have seen it. It's been a glimpse, but we have seen a Zimbabwe where every voice can actually make a difference. And the kind of Zimbabwe that we must have and that we urgently need to have is the one that allows for ideas to build the nation, for ideas to challenge each other. It's important that we allow ideas to, in fact, let me put it this way. I think the kind of Zimbabwe that we need is one that interrogates ideas and not interrogates people. The kind of Zimbabwe that we need to have and that is now knocking at the door is one that is built by its citizens who have gained the knowledge outside the country, who have gained the expertise wherever they have gone, and they all want to come back. I've been on a mission where I've met Zimbabweans in South Africa, I've met Zimbabweans here in the United States in different places, and one of the biggest things that they all want to do is a chance to come back home and contribute with what they have learned or the networks that they have developed here. That's the way we're going to build Zimbabwe. And finally, a Zimbabwe that is not isolated. Our country has got to open itself up to the rest of the world. There are ideas, there are thought processes that are waiting to come into Zimbabwe. But as long as she remains isolated unto herself, she's not going anywhere at all. And so I think that's part of the kind of Zimbabwe that we need. One that is open to ideas that can challenge each other at whatever level. One that is open to its citizens coming back home to contribute what they have learned. And of course, a Zimbabwe that is also in itself not isolated, but is part of the global community of progress.
Well, comrades, you heard it there from the pastor's mouth himself. We flew out all the way to the United States of America to get this interview. So we're just going to see if you can give us some bus fare to get back, Chereng Mdara, please.
Let me tell you, this is what the Bible says. The Bible says, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I to you.
Okay.
In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, get on a plane and go home.
Yeah, so comrade, I don't think they accept your words at the airport. I think I need a Visa card to buy my flight back, but it's fine. I'm Zimbabwean. I'll store away somehow in someone's hashtag this bag and get home. So, comrade, we'd like to thank you for doing this interview with us. We look forward to you coming back home, being back in Zimbabwe and continuing the struggle for a new country, and we hope that the rest of your time here in America is good, and there's no McDonald's, as you were saying, and there's no Lakers games, and just lots of those great selfie videos that you keep sending to us. But comrade, we just want to say thank you for starting this flag, and we look forward to you coming back home very soon.
You've said that.
You let us know when. Yeah, we'll broadcast it. Thank you, comrade. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me on the show today. And I'm not going to say your usual goodbye because I've seen your broadcast, so I'm not going to say that.
You don't say that.
No.
Oh no, you're a man of God, eh?
Exactly.
So I say thank you and futsek
and God bless you.